Hi, welcome to Monday Night Chat episode 159. Today we have Meet the Councillor as the first portion, where we're going to invite AR Kamarul, who is the councillor, and his two, right hand and left hand person, Zol and also Danny. And then we're going to have a hot topic, and the hot topic for this week is chosen by the interns. I have 3 interns now. Yeah, they want to talk about a death in custody where they attended a Swaram briefing. So I think they're kind of excited to discuss the issue, and then we'll go into a Q&A session. Yeah, so let us start our Meet the Councillor program. Okay, how are you guys doing? Okay, sihat semua?
Okay, sihat.
Okay,
Selamat Hari Raya.
Selamat Hari Raya semua, betul?
Selamat
Okay.
Hari Raya.
Okay, yang pertama kita minta lah Kamarul untuk introduce yourself. Kamarul tu councillor, right? So Kamarul, tell us a little bit about yourself. Cerita apa ni?
Okay, YB, my full name memang panjang kan. Kalau kat universiti memang nama saya paling panjang lah. Kamarul Hisham Bin Hj, Yeop Hashim. Yeah?
Okay.
I'm a councillor for Zone 4, MBSJ, since 2018 lah. And I'm actually from Amana. So this zone has been basically the zone for past councillors before. And my predecessor was YB Wong, who contested here in Padang Indah. So when he won, so I replaced him as a councillor in Zone 4. So I have with me my two left and right men. My PA, Zul, and Danny is my treasurer.
Okay, let's have a few words from siapa dulu? Zul dulu lah, Zul. Okay.
Assalamualaikum. Salam sejahtera. Nama saya panjang juga sebenarnya ni. Nama saya full name-nya Zul Fazli Shah bin Sahrudin. Boleh call me Zul lah. Kalau di kampung tu orang panggil saya lain sikit. Bukan Zul, ada setengah Zul, ada panggil Fazli. Tapi Fazli? Di kawasan Sebab Zul Fazli, di kampung panggil Fazli atau Li.
Itu nama glamour tu, Fazli tu.
Nama glamour. Di sekolah panggil Zul lah. Okay, saya assistant daripada Kamarul, pembantu ahli majlis atau PA ahli majlis di Zone 4. Saya daripada Parti Amanah, saya penolong setiausaha Parti Amanah Negeri Selangor, penolong setiausaha kepada Kamarul lah, Kamarul. So saya di Subang Jaya ni dalam 30 tahun dah saya duduk di Subang Jaya. First saya duduk di SS19 lah. Lepas tu saya duduk USJ 6, lepas tu USJ 1 lah sekarang ni. Itu je YB. Kalau
Okay, dulu kerja apa Zul?
Saya dulu background saya saya dulu belajar di UiTM Shah Alam, Mechanical Engineering. Kemudian saya ada kerja technician di Jalan Kuchai Lama. Lepas tu ada banyak kerja banyak bahagian production lah. Ada bahagian furniture-nya factory di Puchong. Lepas tu ada kerja dengan Yamaha motor pun ada juga, Kawasaki motor pun ada juga, bahagian production lah.
Okay. And kita tahu dah tadi AR ni, Kamarul ni arkitek lah, betul tak? Jadi Amanah ni ada satu technician, satu arkitek. Betul?
Betul.
Okay. Sekarang kita dengar daripada Danny pula. Danny.
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Danny. Actually, my full name is Daniel Alif Chan bin Abdullah. I'm a Chinese Muslim, but everyone calls me Danny. I'm the treasurer for Zone 4 during Kamarul's time and also during the past councillor's time, YB Izam, for 2 terms. This is a voluntary job for me, actually. So basically, I just give my time back to the community, especially in USJ 1 area. I'm a businessman. I run my own business. I'm in the logistics industry. I've been in this industry for almost about 25 years, 26 years. I started working with the MNCs, but for the last 12 years, I've been running my own warehousing business. here in Subang Jaya.
Okay, very good, very good. Okay, and I know lah, all three of you main law sports, right? Now, yeah, adalah, adalah.
For fun,
okay.
lah.
So, okay, let's start with you, Kamarul. You are the councillor, yeah. Can you tell us how did you end up in the role of what public service ni? Bila
Public
jadi,
service, right.
you know, what motivated you lah? Apa motivasi? Dan bila you start, dan you know, what keeps you going as a councillor?
Actually, it's quite a long story lah. Tapi it started when I came back from my studies in the UK. Kan? It was like I think 1996 and 97. So I was actually helping my mom, who's actually in politics as well lah. Before this, she was in UMNO, Wanita UMNO kan. Lepas tu when she joined PAS under PAS Kelana Jaya that time, so I helped her a lot in voluntary works. And also a lot of administrative work lah. That's why when I also joined PAS Kelana Jaya, so I was actually finally becomes the secretary for PAS Kelana Jaya, and then from that on I start to do all the voluntary works in PAS until in 2015 we set up Amanah. So I was promoted as state secretary for Amanah Selangor. And then a lot of voluntary work as well in Amanah. And finally, when I was appointed as the councillor, so at the same time, I'm actually practicing architects in my zone as well, which is in USJ 1. So it basically, I'm actually running like three jobs in one time, as an architect in USJ 1, as a Amanah State Secretary, and also as a MBSJ councillors. And on top of that, I was also appointed as the PH Assistant Secretary for Selangor. So that's all 4 jobs lah. So basically, I have like 3. I have an architect's office in USJ 1. I have my councillor's office also in USJ 1. My Amanah State's office in Shah Alam. And so basically, it's all our voluntary works. So it has to come from yourself itself, okay? Because you have to love the job, and at the same time, you want to help people. So that's why I end up with all this, public service, and it has been, I think, more than 20 years. So it's challenging, but so we have to. I mean, I love the work, and Zone 4 has always been previously in USJ 1, but now after the 2018 redelineation of the election borders, so it becomes a much bigger area. So we have to take in USJ 1 until USJ 6. So we meet a lot of residents apart from USJ 1. Now we go to USJ 2 and until USJ 6. So we meet a lot of other residents in the area, and a lot of more community works under Zone 4.
Okay. Let me just stress one point. When you talk about public service, it is public service, right? Because you know, what is your gaji? You dapat berapa, Kamarul? You please tell the public.
Okay. Actually, for our in MBSJ, it's not a gaji lah. It's not a salary. It's just an allowance. So the full allowance, basically the fixed allowance is 2,500, and we also have a meeting allowance. So for each meetings, we are given 150 ringgit allowances. But because I'm the party whip for Amanah in MBSJ, and I'm a technical person, so I have a lot of meetings lah, because I tend to go for meetings which deals with technical issues, like the OACs, infra, and then financial committees, even the IPMC, which deals with industrial area. I'm also inside that committee lah. So I leave the other committees to my fellow Amanah's councillors, like the health issues and all the community issues to my fellow Amanah councillors.
Yeah, the point I'm trying to stress here, Kamarul, the point I'm trying to stress here, dalam sebulan ni, how much gaji you bring back as a councillor? You know?
Not much. I think for us in MBSJ, maybe less than 4Ks.
Around 4K,
Yeah,
right now. But
around
this
4K,
this work is very tough.
Yeah.
Huh? You that's why you need both Zul and Danny to help you, right now.
Yeah, betul. Correct.
So can I ask now, Danny? Maybe Danny, you got any? What do you do exactly for AR Kamarul? Do you represent him in events or what? Ada? You have to unmute. Hang on. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually the treasurer, so I support him in terms of managing the finances. More so on that, and we have a group. Me,
Yeah.
Kamarul, and this Zul, we have a group. Our group is called
Tiga
the
Abdul.
Tiga Abdul Group. We have this Tiga Abdul group in our WhatsApp chat where all issues relating to our MPP, for those important issues, we discuss it there before we bring it up to the main AJK group. So we try to support Kamarul in whichever way that we can. Whenever, of course, most of the time, actually, Kamarul is the one that fronts all the events. Unless he is not available, then he'll get either one of us to be there to represent him. Yeah.
Okay, good. Let me ask the question to Zul. Zul, dalam seminggu ni, berapa event you kena cover untuk Kamarul ni? Berapa event you ikut ke, you cover ke, you buat kerja ke, macam mana?
Okay, setiap minggu tu memang ada event lah di bawah Zone 4 ni buat Kamarul ni. Memang seminggu tu tak semua kadang saya ikut, ada juga yang semuanya saya ikut. Biasanya kadang-kadang paling banyak event dalam seminggu tu dalam 15 program, 15 event dalam satu minggu tu. 15 ke 17 event lah dalam satu minggu tu. Ada semua yang saya ikut semua, ada juga yang saya tak ikut semualah. Cuma kadang-kadang saya hanya bantu dari segi kadang-kadang tu dari segi cuba manage apa dia punya event tu, dia hubungan dengan apa dengan MBSJ. Kalau ada macam mohon apa, kalau ada perlukan kerusi, kemah, meja apa semua tu saya akan uruskanlah. Lepas tu
logistik
yang lain tu logistik saya uruskanlah dengan MBSJ. Okay.
Saya nak tanya Kamarul sekarang. Dalam setahun ni lebih kurang berapa ratus event you buat setahun?
Setahun ni ya.
Last year lah, kata last year.
Okay, in fact last
before COVID and during COVID. Before COVID and during COVID.
Last year it was like the whole year was COVID, right? So I think based on the Jawatan Kuasa Kemasyarakatan report in January, so the last year my MPP4, coincidentally the numbers, the total numbers of programs was 444. So it was surprised me as well because it was like, takkan is a mix up of events kan. So it's actually an official report from the Jawatan Kuasa Kemasyarakatan, which means that Zone 4 leads the other 24 zones lah with 444 programs in a year, 2021, which is
you know. Malay
so
people, nombor 4 tu bagus, tapi untuk Cina
Chinese tak bagus kan. So memang I pun terkejut 444. So very good numbers lah. But as of this month I think before COVID, I think more than that.
More lah.
Much more lah.
Yes. You can reach 1,000 event a year. Can, right? Boleh?
Yeah. Boleh lah, tapi depends on the budget as well, because some of the events we must have some budgets to to bring to the community kan.
Yeah, betul lah. Okay, let me ask now maybe Danny lah. Let's ask Danny. Danny, any funny stories to tell or not regarding complaints? I will ask each of you to tell one funny story, a special story about complaints from the people, right? Because under councillor have to look after the landscaping, the drains, some roads, right? Some roads, garbage collection, but what other funny things do people ask from you? Let's start with Danny first. Danny, got any funny incident?
So far, I've been quite lucky, quite fortunate, because the complaints has been always very normal complaints, like the drains been clogged up and they need assistance here and there. So so far it has been quite reasonable, the complaints, quite reasonable complaints. Yeah.
Okay, good. You're lucky. Okay.
Very lucky. Very fortunate.
Ada apa komplain yang gila sikit?
Komplain yang gila tu tak sangat lah YB, tapi memang ada yang ada kadang-kadang komplain direct personal dengan saya. Isu drain jugalah.
Drain lah.
Drain. Kadang-kadang ada kereta buruk. Biasa mana yang boleh saya direct dengan MBSJ, saya akan direct dengan MBSJ lah. Mana macam aduan dari segi teknikal tu saya akan direct dengan Kamarul lah. Itu Kamarul akan direct dengan MBSJ. Mana kebanyakan ni diorang ada jugalah, ramai jugalah yang personal dengan saya. Sampai kadang-kadang YB tengah malam pun ada juga buat aduan dengan saya pun ada juga YB. Tapi saya itu biasa. Biasa saya akan cuba selesaikan sendirilah dengan MBSJ. Macam itulah. Tapi yang gila-gila tu sangat tak adalah.
Okay. Saya WhatsApp saya ni tak habis lah. Pukul 1 pun orang complain. Sometimes when we receive complaint, we have no choice lah. We have to pass it to the adun or pass it to the councillor lah. What about you, Kamarul? Any funny stories to tell or not? I mean,
Well, tak tahu, complain ni, we receive a lot of complaints lah. But then one of the funniest complaint I received first kan, masa I was appointed in 2018 was these neighbors was quarreling about their, the pets. Then she was saying, my neighbor's dog was peeing on my gate. Please get it settled. So macam expect kita councillor nak isu kecil-kecil macam tu dia nak suruh kita settle kan. And then there's also complaints about the neighbors' aircon compressor was too noisy and they cannot sleep.
Ada macam tu juga.
Ada juga. And some of the biggest issues mungkin my I think a good experience right, as a councillor, the suicide attempt I think at Dennis Place, I think. I was, because it happens in my zone. So Tuan Said, who is the chief of Bomber Subang Jaya, he called me up and called YBs. He said, do you want to come to the place and see how they and how they basically attend to the issues lah. So basically we look at how the firefighters try and help the teenagers, and finally they managed to help her and avoid her from committing suicide. She was at the, I think, 23rd or 24th floor already.
19th floor.
19th floor.
On the 19th floor,
yes. Yeah, it was very, I think, memorable, and I think a good experience for us as councillors as well. Because
this is the first time I'm hearing.
Yeah, mental health issues is quite a prominent issues in the Subang Jaya area.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, let me ask another question. In your experience, the three of you lah, tiga lah, right? Other than the drain complaint and then the unusual case of a suicide attempt, right?
Yeah.
When you do your events, what is your main focus? Are you focusing on education, poverty? What is it that you are trying to do the most? Let's start with Kamarul lah, since you're the councillor. It's your money, right?
Yeah. In fact, our previous mayor, Puan Nuraini, she has basically, in 2018, she launched this project called Pangsapuri Angkat. So whereby each of us, 24 councillors, we have to choose one low-cost flats in our zone and make it your adopted flats, and try to basically empower the community in that flats and to become independent, and to help them to basically we have to serve the communities in the low-cost flat. And surprisingly, before 2018, because I was a secretary for Zone 4 for the last 10 years in that area. So Angsana flat was a bit tough for us to enter. But then after the election, we start to do this community works under the Pangsapuri Angkat programs. It seems that the community in the low-cost flats has started to open up, and they welcome all the helps that MBSJ has offered. Basically, we have a certain budget for these low-cost flats, and we do like mural projects. We do community gardens. And the last that
recycling,
we did was
I remember.
recycling. Yeah, you were there, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the recycling projects, and we also do reading corners where they themselves actually built up the tables and chairs from Dennis, what was that, the
pallet,
wooden pallet,
wooden pallet.
So
wooden
they
project.
From that wooden pallet, they make all these chairs and tables, and they furnish it, and then they make a like a fantastic reading corners in one of the corners in the flats. And it was documented, and we actually bring the Pangsapuri Angkat programs, the projects, to World Urban Forum in 2000 in Abu Dhabi in 2019 or 2020, if I'm not mistaken. And it got a praise from all over the world, because because we try to empower the communities by them doing all this community works. And we MBSJ received special Scrolls of Honors award from the United Nations because of this project.
Wow,
and
that's fantastic.
We were honored because the UN Habitat Puan is a Malaysian, Puan Maimuna. She came all the way from her base in Nairobi to present the awards in MBSJ. That was in 2020, if I'm not mistaken. So for us, councillors that involved in this project, it's a great satisfaction for us to see the communities expand their minds and open their hearts to all these community works. And we hope that we can do much better in the next months after this COVID has subside. And we hope that MBSJ will actually we also encourage our RAs and RTs and NGOs to help also in these community programs. In fact, in MPP 4, we have many RAs and NGOs who help us, like the Alvin from Waterways, and then we have Lions Club as well. They come together with us and join us in the programs in Angsana flats.
That's very good. I remember Angsana in my first term. Right? It is a difficult area, lah. We all know.
Everyone remember about the the 100 motorcycles was burned in that area.
So in my first time, I focused mostly on Kelana Jaya side, lah. Because back then I think Mentari, that was like, that's even worse than Angsana, right? So okay, let me ask Danny and Zo. Now you both of you are left hand, right hand man, how you want to describe it, right? So you're not even the councillor, but you are very dedicated, both of you. What keeps you going? What is the point? What is it that what do you derive from this? Danny, kita start dengan you dulu. Why do you keep doing all this national service?
For me personally, I mean, even during my school days, I've been always quite active, in extracurricular activities, and also probably because of my upbringing. My late father was actually a charter member of the Lions Club in my hometown in Taiping. So when I was young, I used to follow him around, doing a lot of charity works, going to the Orang Asli camps in God-forsaken place. So even at young age, I've been brought up in this manner. So eventually, when I went into when I was working and I realized that I'm going to stay put in Subang Jaya, I thought it would be good if I'm able to give back some of my time to the community, contribute back. Actually, I'm a professional in logistics, so I thought that my know-how and my ability to assist the community would be good. So it's just voluntary service, like apart from being the treasurer for MPP4. I'm also the treasurer for the mosque in USJ1.
Okay.
So it's actually quite an honor for them to be able to accept me, being a Chinese Muslim. I think the whole of Selangor, when I attended the treasurers meeting, I check around. I think I'm the only Chinese Muslim treasurer in the state of Selangor. So for the mosque to also recognize, my effort to contribute to the community is actually good lah. So I live here in USJ1. My office is nearby in Subang Jaya, so it's only natural and this one for me to contribute back some of my time and my effort to the community here.
Okay.
Just that.
Fantastic lah. If you're a Buddhist, it's called karma lah, brother. You score the karma points. Okay. Okay, let me ask Zo. Zo, apa motivasi Zo? You know, why you keep going? Apa motivasinya? Mic. Okay.
Okay, apa Wei?
Boleh dengar.
Dengar?
Okay. Jadi apa yang buat Zo ni, Zo bukan kaunselor tapi you kerja macam kaunselor, gila juga. Betul tak? Apa motivasi yang you buat drive ni untuk buat kerja macam ni? Satisfaction ke? Sebab you suka amanah ke? You loyal to your party ke? Apa cerita dia?
Dia sebenarnya YB, ini adalah minat saya.
Oh, minat.
Saya minat untuk berkhidmat dengan masyarakat. Yang pertama adalah saya terlibat dengan politik pun dah lama. Jadi servis saya untuk masyarakat dengan rakyat apa semua itu pun dah lama. Jadi ini salah satu motivasi saya untuk saya taburkan bakti saya kepada masyarakat, terutama di kawasan Subang Jaya ini, untuk saya bantu setakat mana yang saya mampulah untuk bantu masyarakat di Subang Jaya ni. Saya dalam macam family saya ni ada yang ramai dengan politik dan ada juga yang jadi wakil rakyat dalam saya punya family saya. Masa tu yang di wakil rakyat UMNO pun ada, lama dululah, zaman 80-an dulu. Kemudian yang jadi calon pilihan raya pun ada juga dalam family saya, tapi kalah, iaitu masuk dalam PAS. Jadi itu yang menyebabkan saya terlibat untuk berkhidmat dengan masyarakat dan saya secara tak langsung apabila saya dengan PAS, lepas tu saya dengan amanah. Jadi ini untuk membantu rakyat dan juga masyarakat, terutama di kawasan Subang Jaya khususnya dan di Selangor ini, untuk saya sama-sama bantu.
Okay, bagus. Okay, kita last question. Kita start dengan Zo dulu, lepas tu Danny, lepas tu Kamarul lah. Ya. Okay, Zo balik apa pesanan yang you nak bagi kepada community? Any last advice to the members of your community in MPP Zon 4 ni? You ada apa-apa nak cakap lah?
Okay, kepada semua komuniti MPP Zon 4, saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada semua, terutama sekali di kawasan Zon 4 ini, yang banyak beri kerjasama kepada MPP. Yang ini yang menyebabkan saya rasa seronok. Saya lebih kenal ramai komuniti terutama sekali Zon 4 daripada USJ 1 sampai ke USJ 6. Kebanyakan ini semua saya kenal. Jadi saya mengharapkan kerjasama ini akan berterusan, walaupun kalau saya tak ada pun di MPP Zon 4 ini pun akan terus dapat kekal seperti ini jugalah. Jadi saya mengharapkan agar komuniti ini dapat bersama-sama dengan MPP Zon 4, terutama sekali dengan YB Wong Chen-nya, ahli parlimennya, lepas tu YB Michelle Adonnya, dapat sama kita work together untuk sama-sama kita menaikkan image di kawasan Subang Jaya ini. Okay, bagus. Okay, Danny, any advice you want to give to members of your community?
Well, I think first of all, I want to thank my other MPP committee members. There are about another 15, 16 of them who are not on the show, on this live show, that has played very, very major roles here in all our events, in bringing the community together. Basically, problems will never end. As far as I see it, problems will always be there. Just be patient with us. We are also residents here. we also want to make sure that things are good for everyone. Sometimes certain problems can be solved fast. Sometimes some problems may need a bit of time. So just be patient. Give us a bit of time to try to solve everyone's problem. Yeah, that's about all.
Okay, great. Okay, Kamarul, you wrap it up, brother.
Okay.
Anything.
So my advice to the community is actually we have to love your communities because this is your taman, and let's make it your kampong. I like the idea of USJ2 communities where they call it this is our kampong, and they work together with all the RAs and RTs. And I would like to advise the communities that have not have their RAs or RTs set up. Please set up your RAs and RTs so that we can actually work together with MBSJ and MPP4. And because you don't expect everything to be done for you actually, because we want to come to your areas and we bring all the whatever budgets and whatever services that we have, and we can actually help to do a great community works in your areas. And finally, the dengue issues in my zone 4, is on the rise actually. USJ 2/5 has been reported 32 cases within the more than 100 days of hotspot. So I'd like to encourage 10 minutes campaign where you clean up your compound and to check on all these Aedes breeding grounds, because it is very dangerous and very basically I think quite an increase as compared to COVID-19. I think when people tend to forget about dengue when with this COVID. So I would like to remind the resident, especially in these hotspot areas, to take care of your compound. And one final words, I would like to invite all my Zone 4 residents to come to our MPP4 Hari Raya Open House, which will be held in after 2 years of non-big event of Rumah Terbuka. So we are going to have it on the 22nd of May 2022 on Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. So YB also is invited. Yes.
Okay, I will try to make it, brother. And one more thing, just to end this, A.R. Kamarul is very modest, but he's actually a very good cook. Right now, you bake good. I remember your cake.
Yeah, I sent you a burnt cheesecake, right?
Burnt cheesecake.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so
I'll be cooking my lasagna for the open house as well.
Okay, good.
So my two specialties is burnt cheesecake and lasagna.
Yeah. Zo, you expert apa? Lemang ke?
Saya expert simple-simple je YB, tak ada yang expertnya YB.
Buat sirap limau lah.
Masak simple-simple. Ais suam je.
Ais suam saja. Danny, what you gonna bring, man, for this Hari Raya thing?
I will come and eat only. I will just come and eat and enjoy the food.
He's the treasurer. He's preparing the budget.
Betul. Okay. I think you put in the request from my office for some money, right?
Yes.
I remember.
Because Kamarul wants to make this into a big event this time.
Yeah.
Just be careful lah. Just try to encourage people. Make sure open air.
Right.
Jangan close doors, betul lah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, guys, for coming on this show.
Thank you, YB, for having us.
Thank you for the invitation.
Kita kenal lama lah kita.
Betul. Memang
right?
Okay. Betul.
So thank you again, and I'll see you on the 22nd lah. Guarantee lah.
Yes.
Yeah?
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Thanks, YB.
Bye. Okay, let's move on now to hot topic. Okay, let's. Okay, hot topic. Let's bring in all the interns and also Dashini. And who else is joining us? Is Bala there?
Yes, he is, boss.
And Serene? Is Serene with us also today?
No, Serene won't be joining us today. She has a family matter to attend to, but all of us are here and we have a new intern.
Okay. And the new intern is Ainin, right?
Yep.
Ainin, your camera is black and white or what? Hi.
Huh? Oh, no, it's just dark.
Okay. Okay. So we don't want to put you on the spot, but we will ask you to introduce yourself later. So you have a few minutes to think about what you want to say. But I'm going to hand over the hot topic to Dashini, right? This is because Dashini took the interns, except for Ainin. This is Ainin's first day. Yeah. Dashini took Wen and also Angel to the Swara meeting, right? So Dashini,
Yep.
I'm going to hand over the hot topic to you. You do the talking and Bala can join in. I will just observe and join in. Yeah. Okay.
Sure,
Take
boss.
over.
Sure. Okay, so yes, we did attend this Swaram. Okay, yeah, we did attend the Swaram. It was a stakeholder consultation that we had, and we also updated it on Facebook. It was very interesting because I think we were able to see the different aspects of what goes into managing prisons and why there may be mismanagement of prisons in Malaysia and custody places of custody in general. So we've seen also recently the detention center for refugees, people breaking out of them, and it's honestly out of pure desperation from the stakeholders that we engaged with. There were NGOs who have dealt with these refugees, have dealt with prisoners, and you see how dire their situation is. And so to hear from the NGOs and the civil society activists who were there, it was really interesting. And so I think all the interns actually have questions that they would like to discuss. So I think I'll pass it off to Wen first, so we can just talk about what our experience was like.
All right. So, okay. So recently, just yesterday, the 16th case of death in custody in Malaysia just happened at a police station in Seri Alam, Johor. So to his case, he was found to be unwell in the morning, and then a doctor from a nearby clinic came over and checked out on him, and he was reported to be dead around 9 a.m. So my question is, I think this part is very strange, is that what is the government's allocation for police stations? Does it need to be reviewed? Because you see, the person locked up, he was found to be unwell in the morning, but they needed to send a person from a nearby clinic to come and check up on him. Why are the lockups deprived of their basic health care as to needing a doctor from a nearby?
Okay, well, that is a good question. Anybody want to try to answer this? I mean, look, to be fair, when you don't expect every police station that has a lockup to have a medical officer. But the moment a person is feeling unwell, he must be given immediate attention. Yeah? So to send after them, so maybe it took too long. In fact, they just take the guy, escort him. They can be handcuffed to get to a policeman, but take him straight away to see a doctor. Yeah, I think that's the issue here. Dashini or Angel, you want to add in? Bala, what do you think?
I think maybe I can go first, boss. Then, you want to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I think what Wen pointed out is a very valid point. I think that was something that we were discussing as well. The access to healthcare that these prisoners have, and as you mentioned, boss, the thing is, I think they do have, from what we learned from Swakam, they do have medical attention, but on site itself for prisons, but it's always for the most basic things. And unfortunately, by the time they find these cases and they are able to bring them to get their medical attention, it's very late. And so I think we seem to see the same situation where people have medical conditions and then, have a medical situation that needs to be attending to. It's attended to too late. And you're unable to save this person just simply because they don't have access to healthcare or the healthcare that they need. We also heard about how they don't have proper dental hygiene and dental healthcare as well, and how that also means that they develop these complications when they're in prison. And you see people who go in healthy come out, or unfortunately may actually lose their lives when they're in custody. So Bala, do you have anything to add?
No, but I actually kind of agree with. I think you were talking about having medical officers in prisons, not necessarily in police stations and lockups, right? Yeah. So when it comes to police stations and lockups, it is an evident problem that we do not have enough. Probably they don't have enough money to have a medical officer on site all the time. But however, it shouldn't take so long for uh, someone in custody to get medical attention. Like I think what boss pointed out just now, just handcuffing those in custody and just bringing them to the clinic. It's not really rocket science. It can be done. However, I suppose we can't weigh too much on it because the police probably have other safety concerns as well. But yeah, but when it comes to the life of a person getting medical help, it shouldn't be something that is complicated. Definitely.
Yeah, we have to distinguish the fact that they are in lockup, which means they're suspect, they're not guilty
Correct.
of the crime, right? So I don't know. I mean, at least the officers should have CPR training, you know. They should have at least maybe a nurse or something, or a way to report. What I find interesting is all this death in custody. Of course, some is evidence of violence, lah. I hope that stops, you know. But some, what we need to know is like, what do people die if they die of some sort of disease or health reason? Is it asthma that they're dying of? Is it hypertension? I mean, what is it? Did they get a stroke, right? Those kind of things, we should have a record and we should have access. And if say there's a prevalence of death from asthma, then obviously every police station must have asthma medication, right? I mean, it's so simple, you know. Okay, but anyway, let's move on to Angel, because Angel attended the event as well, right, Angel? Yeah.
Yep.
Do you have anything to ask or anything to consider in this matter?
Actually, like when I attended the conference, I think Sarang did mention that there were 6 prisons that still apply the bucket system, meaning which the prisoners, they will pee and poop in the bucket, and which is just very unhygienic. And they also pointed out that every prisoner that goes into prison were given 2 soaps that are actually 1 soap but cut into half, which I think on the hygiene side, obviously this is a huge problem, but this also impacts on mental health heavily. So I do think that, like, of course, some people might think that we can't even afford to have a doctor in a prison. So how can you even have a psychologist or something like that? But I do think that, most of the prisoners that go into prison because they were convicted of drug abuse or things like that, they don't go into prison because they want to have a second chance after that, but instead they were just looking for somewhere a place to stay before they can go out and take drugs again and feel better. And I think this never-ending cycle has a huge cause, which is lack of mental health support from our government itself. So I do think that government definitely needs to pay more attention to mental health on not just prisoners, but obviously in general. But prisoners do need to have more healthcare attention as well as mental health support as well.
Okay, those are valid points. Darshini, do you want to add anything to this issue? And Ainin, I know you didn't attend this event, but if you have any points you want to say, just join in anytime. Okay, yeah. Darshini. Oh, you have to unmute. Or maybe you get Bala. I think Darshini is having connection problem. Bala.
Yeah, I think she's frozen for a bit. But I think adding up to your point just now when you mentioned that there are certain cases where there is suspect of police brutality that even could have been led to a death in custody. So I think Eileen has a question prepared on that very specific topic. Maybe I can give Eileen to go first.
Okay, go ahead, Eileen.
Okay.
Yeah, just unmute yourself.
All right. Oh, am I lagging?
Yeah, you're okay. Try.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Okay. So, based on the because violence can also be a cause of death in in custody, right? So I believe at this point Malaysians are have always been speculating that that is the cause of the death in custody. So I believe that right now the public has raised some concerns regarding the police brutality and abuse of power of PDRM towards the inmates. Do you believe that the abuse of authority had partly contributed to the death toll? Or is it just mere speculation from the public?
Well, that is a great question because we're not sure because they don't really publish data. We can ask as MPs, but generally I don't focus on prison issues. I think it's Iza has been looking at this for some time recently, and Kasturi, the usual suspects will usually ask this kind of questions on it. Yeah, but we do need data. Now on violence, that is quite easy to resolve. When I was a student in the UK, studying law, right? I went to this social and context law school called Warwick. We look at simple solutions like CCTV, and this is this is like 1989 when I learned that. That's like a lifetime ago. Just ensuring that when they interview or take statements from people, that everything is recorded, so there's no abuse, hitting people. Lockups have a CCTV camera to ensure that none of this violence happens. So if the government just spend a bit more money, right, and ensure that there is a proper recording of this, I'm sure we can reduce the death in custody issue by a lot more. Yeah. Of course, this issue has come very, very emotional when it comes into race matter, right? So maybe Bala, you want to talk a little bit about this issue? I mean, because the death in custody that involves violence tend to happen to the Indian community more, right? Now, maybe Darshini lah. Darshini is our Indian community champion here, right? Darshini, please. I don't want to stereotype you, but this is a very emotional issue for you in particular, right? Yeah.
I would think that of all the things that I feel very passionate about, of course, the Malaysian Indian community and understanding why it is that they're so disproportionately affected by death in custody matters, and also, I mean, in crime in general, the stereotype exists, and unfortunately, there's a reason why. So this is something that I'm very interested to know more about, La Boss. And I think it was very interesting to join the Swaram session because there's a lot of aspects to it. I think oftentimes it's easy to be like the police is the sole reason, but there's a lot of funding issues. There's a lot of I think mainly funding issues, data transparency, which prohibits people from being able to, recommend proper things to you. So I think there's a lot of things that went into it, and I think that session really helped me to understand that.
It is, look, the police in Subang do a good job. Yeah, generally, I think the community is happy. Community is very happy with them, right? So when we see all these incidents, it is always about funding. Of course, there are bad apples everywhere in any organization, right? We have to weed out the bad apples. But generally, if you have a problem like buckets being used for toilet, not having facilities, proper healthcare, or at least some sort of training, all this is a funding issue. Yeah, it's obviously a funding issue. Now, let me just ask very quickly before we end this segment on hot topic. Since when and Darshini and Angel attended this Wakam thing, do you have anything that you want to highlight that you learned in that particular thing? Because what we do in our internship is we try to get them to attend some functions other than just sitting in my office getting lectured by me on policies, right? So when I'm going to ask you, what was the most interesting thing you learned about the Suhakam visit, yeah, or the seminar?
The most interesting thing I found was that they proposed alternative sentencing for drug offences, such that because they wanted to lessen the overcrowding in detention centers and prisons, so they proposed that there can be that they can bring drug offences to civil it's a civil offense, not a criminal offense.
So they
that
pay
they
a
can
fine.
face,
Yeah.
so that they can face a rehabilitation and not just locked up and rot away, essentially.
Okay, good. Angel, what was the most interesting thing you learned in that Swara meeting?
I think the most interesting thing I learned is that how important data transparency is when it comes to reforming certain things and making amendments to policies. And I do realize that when the public doesn't know what is happening, it really does affect whatever NGOs that are trying to reform certain things and make certain amendments. And I think I find it very interesting that there was one representative from a LGBTQ community that uh, wanted data that was gender based, gender segregated, to ensure that not just, or you don't just categorize prisoners as prisoners, but by gender segregation, to look for solutions to help women that have to be examined before they were given a pad for whenever they had their menstrual cycle going on. And I do think that these are, it was really interesting to see how those members of different NGOs come together to gather information, and they were able to come up with solutions that require simple transparency to data, that we can come up with many solutions that could help prisoners and reform whatever system we have right now. So I do think that is really interesting.
You're absolutely right. You know, in policy that we teach you or we try to guide you, is that the first thing you have to understand is to understand the problem. So understand the problem means getting proper data, right? Is this like, let's go to the LGBTQ thing. You say you have a gay man and he's been locked up. Is he a target of more attacks from the other prisoners as well? We need to understand those kind of things. Those data is essential to see, are they exceptional victims within their gender group, right? Dashini, no. Before that, let's ask Ainin. I know Ainin didn't attend the Swaram thing, but Ainin, you got any views on death in custody issues?
I guess like just the whole point of police brutality is one thing, and I do think like based on the whole LGBTQ and how our Malaysian mindset is more conservative. So like I believe that LGBTQ community who are in prison are prone to be more targets, and I would assume that they usually get worse lah. So, and yeah, that's basically my opinion on that.
No, you're right. We need segregated data. We need
Mhm.
to, if need be, we need to segregate them also, lah. Please, yeah. Okay. Now, Bala, you didn't attend, but you have any last words on this?
I think the issue of the disproportionate death of Indians in custody is a major concern. It is how do I say this? The Indians in Malaysia are somewhat like the blacks in America. We usually profiled to be people that are more likely to commit crimes. But however, the treatment we get in, okay, I was never in prison before, but the treatments that Indians do get in prison seem to show that there is a certain level of stereotypes, certain level of prejudice that is being directed towards this community, and it is very scary, to be honest, because it's not just how authorities treat Indians in prison that is a concern, but even driving around at night may cause concern to people. especially those who are from this community. Yeah, but I guess I think one thing I would like to find out is how are these authorities trained to understand their own internal biases and how they treat not just people in custody or those who are found guilty, but those who are they're supposed to protect. So yeah, I guess these are deeper questions and discussions that are probably not exactly related to death in custody, but it's something that I think it is relevant.
It is very relevant.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay. We'll give the last words to Dashini because this is her passion project. Dashini,
Yeah, I think I definitely echo the sentiments of like Bala's sentiments of the emotional aspect of it, but I think being in that stakeholder consultation meeting really made me appreciate also the power that a member of parliament has. So even those NGOs and civil society organizations rely very heavily on parliament questions and the answers that they get from parliament questions to get data. So for them to be able to be informed on how many people have passed away in custody, how many cases of people are, how many people are in, these detention centers and all these kinds of things, they rely on these parliamentary questions, they follow parliamentary questions. So it made me feel, number one, the way that they work together, as Injo pointed out, they were looking at it from so many different aspects, very pragmatically. So, we talk about data, we also talk about cost-benefit analysis in our office. They were very plainly talking about, well, if we just don't incarcerate, how much money would the government actually be saving if we choose not to incarcerate? And if we go to alternative sentencings like good bond on good behavior and things like that, which judges usually don't give out, right? So it was a very interesting discussion, and I think they were very pragmatic about it. And I'm really interested to see what Swaram comes out with after the engagement session.
Okay, we would, when they do come out with a final paper or a recommendation or white paper, we'll send you guys back there to get it to attend it. Yeah. Okay. It looks like we're out of time, but a very quick question: is there any questions out there tonight?
Actually, boss, there seems to be no questions. But
wow.
There's a lot of good comments about zone 4 and
okay.
We have comments on Zul, the fact that he's so easy to work with. We also have someone, Mr. Sagaran, saying that YB and Tuan Kamarul are really helping the people. But otherwise,
that's very nice. Yeah. And then one more thing I need to disclose is that Zul also had some health issues, and to see him back to health and still, doing this service to community is remarkable. Yeah. Any more good well wishes from people out there?
We have, I think, regarding the open house, nak rasa juga. We have people who are looking forward. So I think, I'm sure that we have Puan Shak Fin Fanas. Wah, bila boleh join open house. So I think it's good to see that, they're having this kind of community events that people are really looking forward to. So yeah, not many questions, boss. Slow week after Raya. Yep.
No worry. We are all just starting to work again. I just started working end of last week, right? So, yeah. Well, we'll be back next week, and we'll find some other issue to discuss. Maybe a new format. We've been discussing a little bit. Maybe to cut down this 1 hour program to about half an hour. We should see how we proceed, lah. Yeah. On that note, everybody have a very, very productive week. And we'll see you next week again. Bye. Oh, wait. Ainin has to introduce herself. Sorry.
All right.
Ainin, maybe you want to introduce yourself. What are you studying? How long are you going to do an internship with us? All that. Yeah? As an intro, lah. Okay?
Oh, no. I think her internet is actually...
I think she's frozen.
She's frozen.
Oh, no.
Oh, she's back.
Oh, no, she's back. Okay. Come. Ainin.
Okay.
Hey, frozen again. No.
Oh no. I don't think we're getting it from her today. Maybe next week we'll try. The next time we have MNC.
Okay, next week we'll try again with her. But we will ask her to put up a posting tomorrow on our Facebooks, and you can just follow Ainin and her aspiration in our office. Okay? Thank you and good night, everybody. Bye.